The Isle of Wonder. Imagine a place where the very path beneath your feet might complain of your weight, and the trees purposely drop twigs on your head for the sheer merriment of it all. You'll have an idea of what it's like to be on the Isle of Wonder. The Isle of Wonder is a comma-shaped body of land that might as well resemble a question mark, for confusion and astonishment are sure to be the lot of the unsuspecting visitor. The island is teeming with life. Vegetation is abundant, as are the island's inhabitants. In fact, the two are frequently one and the same. One can scarcely pick up a grain of sand on that shore without it demanding to be put right back, in this instant, if you please. The history of this unusual island is an issue of fervent speculation. Many believe that it was an uninteresting deserted island until a wizard enchanted the whole place, bringing everything in it to life. He presented it to his daughter as a birthday present. Others say that the island was once the prison of a beautiful princess, held captive there by a powerful and jealous queen. The maiden was so fair that the very trees and stones themselves could not bear to hear her crying, and came to life to provide her companionship. Still another group ardently claims that the creator of the universe simply got tired of the serious business of life-giving and decided to indulge his or her sense of humor. Whatever the origin, a more delightful spot could scarcely be imagined, but be warned. Those travelers who like to know exactly what to expect from life would be well advised to go elsewhere. While most of the island's inhabitants are friendly, some of their thornier natives are capable of being downright rude, and all are quirksome. Visitors are frequent on the Isle of Wonder, for it offers a refreshing respite from the ho-hum of everyday life. Even the king and queen enjoy a picnic on Exclamation Point or a stroll in the gardens, and they are on occasion to be found there relaxing and passing the time of day with the island's natives. The rulers of the Isle of Wonder are a pair of queens, rivals in every way, and most frequently to be found arguing over everything from the color of the sky to the consistency of potato hash. Despite their eccentricities, I can't say that word, I'm moving on. The Isle of Wonder seems to run smoothly and be a flourishing part of the kingdom, providing many valuable exports and leading the kingdom in a lightheartedness to counter their more serious countrymen on the island's secret mountain. And now we move on to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. The Isle of Sacred Mountain, on first impression, appears to be nothing but a great wall of cliffs rising to the sky with no apparent means of scaling it. The visitor is soon met, however, by a pair of greeters of the Winged Ones race. The Winged Ones are the inhabitants of the Isle of Sacred Mountain, towering in a height of 6 to 7 feet. The Winged Ones are by far the most impressive creatures I have ever seen. Each one of them, male and female alike, is surpassingly beautiful. Their bodies are muscled and athletic and gleaming with health. From their broad backs, mighty wings emerge like secondary limbs, strong and webbed, and covered with large white feathers. And when they spread these massive wings, oh, it is as if the sun itself is eclipsed. Two of these creatures, the greeters, meet visitors at the base of the cliffs, and so was I met. Gently they took my arms and flew me upwards. Has there not been a man who has dreamed of flying? Are we all not Icarus in our heart of hearts? Imagine, then, the thrill of that flight, and the glory of the beings who rule the very air around us. But, as the old saw warns, beauty is only skin deep. I was flown to the Winged One City, a strange and haunting place whose architecture combines the two overriding elements of this culture, aviation and the classical. The city seems built to exclude these poor creatures whose lot it is to crawl like insects upon the ground, for each edifice towers into the sky with no connection to the next or to the ground itself save by flight. Thus completely dependent on the greeters to travel about the city or even leave, the visitor is humbled and loath to do much exploration. This appeared to me to be rather the intention, for the culture of the Winged Ones is a private one. On the Isle of Wonder I always felt welcome, despite the sometimes gruff nature of the inhabitants. They had a certain simplicity and honesty about them. By contrast, although my reception with the Winged Ones was on the surface extremely polite, the formal words of welcome did not ring true. I sensed in the eyes of that beauteous race a disdain of common humanity, a haughtiness that made them suddenly lose some of their golden perfection in the eyes of this humble observer. Despite this innate sense of superiority, the Winged Ones are valuable members of this kingdom and provide many important skills. incredibly intelligent. The Winged Ones are master logicians and mathematicians, precise architects, and planners. They disdain magic and the daintier arts, being far too logical for such goings-on. Even the palace of the Winged One's city has a sparseness, a sense of functionality that denotes their contempt for artistic ornamentation. The Winged One's culture is an old one, and they make frequent references to the Ancient Ones, their forefathers, whose ruins and great works still abound on the island. The Isle of Secret Mountain is ruled by a lord and lady, who exist as monarchs on their own island, but owe allegiance to the common crown. The name of the island derives from a lone peak which soars into the clouds beyond the city. There in a cave dwells the sacred oracle, the philosophical head of the community. It is said that the oracle is centuries old, ultimately wise, and can read the future. She is consulted by the lord and lady on every facet of the city's life, and even advises the king and queen. I, of course, did not meet the oracle, and even most Winged One's citizens regard her as an almost mythical being. The greatest honor any Winged One citizen might hope for in his or her long life is to be granted a meeting with the oracle, for her cave is a place reserved for only the most worthy souls. Like many lofty ambitions, most of the Winged Ones never achieve this end. I found myself fascinated by the Ancient Ones, for it was the only deep history apparent in the kingdom. From what I managed to learn from the closed-mouthed Winged Ones themselves, and from the more readily available information to be found in the writings and from scholars on the Isle of the Crown, I put together the following picture of this bygone race. I included it among these records of the kingdom, for they are as much a presence in the land as the current inhabitants. We'll stop there.